hungry, so I thought I'd eat my own labia. I mean, I think it's perfectly a normal thing to do. I don't think I'm a danger to society just because I chop off my own genitals and eat them. Um, Shush! Sorry, I've just got someone I've tortured tied up to a radiator. Um, it's all right because I'm trans, so don't worry. There's absolutely nothing going to happen to me because what's going to happen is I'm going to say some violent threats and then I'm going to go in front of a judge who allows the whole courtroom to laugh continuously at my hilarious defense of my violent speech. So I'm going to talk about, assaulting women because who the shit gives a damn about women. So I'm going to talk about maybe some violent assaults towards women. Oh God, my labia is repeating on me. Who knew it would be quite so tough to eat one's own? Shh. Sorry, my victim of obscene violence is just over there. Just keeps bleeding on the floor. It's a bit much, but I'm trans, so shh. It's fine. I'm trans. I can basically do anything because I'm trans, and you know that I'm trans because I've just said it. So that's all we actually need these days. We just need to say it. But anyway, let me get on with these violent threats. I'm going to basically tell you all that you can go and punch someone. I'll just pick some people. I think if I say women, I think we can all get away with that. Um, and then I'll go and see a judge, and his name will be Ikram. Let me tell you, I think if I see this particular judge, Tanweer Ikram, he's got a special interest in diversity and inclusion. So if I get put in front of that judge and I tell him that I'm trans, apparently during the court case, everybody in the gallery can laugh. I can basically say, oh my God, I was just being an idiot. I was just being an idiot when I was making those violent threats. I mean, there's nothing about my history of eating my own testicles or torturing someone or kidnapping someone or torturing somebody else or any of the violence that I've committed in the past. That doesn't inform the fact that I'm also violent right now. And when I stand in front of a load of cheering people and I talk about violence against women and then I lie in the dock about a 16-year-old being beaten up at a Posie Parker rally, when I do all that, I'm trans. Don't you understand? It's like the purge, everyone. It's like the purge. Smack a woman in the face. You're trans. She assaulted my delicate penis by saying that I was a man. So apparently today I'm well informed that Sarah Jane Baker, Alan, I've got a feeling his name's Alan. Alan Baker, basically his defense for trying to incite violence, apparently there was no intent because he's not got any history of violence. He doesn't single out women. He doesn't try and get their attention and single out women like myself with kind of like, I wouldn't do any harm to you. I just want to talk to you. I wouldn't do any harm to you, Kellie-Jay Keen. I know where you live. That sort of thing. But he said he was an idiot. Didn't mean it. Didn't mean to tell a whole crowd of cheering people that he wanted to genuinely punch a TERF. He didn't mean it. He was an idiot. And then as he's leaving the court, he says through the window, I'm not an idiot. The judge even uses he's an idiot or words to the effect of something like, you even admit yourself that you shouldn't have said it. So that's all. Look, that's all you've got to do now. If you just say it was a joke, you didn't mean it. You can say whatever you like. Now, that man is not a white man. I'm sure if somebody racially abuses him in the street and they said it's just a joke, he'll be fine with that. He'll be fine with that. Especially if that person is trans. So I think you can threaten violence. Just remember, it's a joke. You can have served time as a violent criminal in this country, right? And you can come out and you can threaten violence, and that isn't even against your parole. But oh my God, if you call a policeman deviant who's gay, expect to be arrested. Do we remember the women that have actually been found guilty for saying a couple of mean things like "you are a freaking bloke" to men online? This judge should not have been allowed to be on the case at all. He shouldn't have been allowed because he was going to be biased. You're allowed your own interests, but you are not allowed to preside over cases where you might have a conflict of interest. Just somebody who went to the guy who's fighting the Greens. They went to their court case, and in that court case, somebody coughed. It sounded like a laugh. Somebody coughed, and I've been in courts, and you're not allowed to even make a face. My husband years ago, there was it was when something to do with road traffic, and somebody had taken over the case, and I don't know. Anyway, it was a court case, and it was not to do with him, but he was a witness. And when he was in the dock, I was apparently doing the sort of and I got told off by a judge for making faces, right? In the court case of the guy fighting the Greens, somebody coughed and they thought it was a laugh, and a barrister complained to the judge, and the judge told everyone off. Today, in that courtroom, Alan Baker was playing to the gallery, who were finding it very entertaining and brilliant, and the judge let it go, said nothing. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Where are we now? Where are we? We are in a time where parents have been to court to try and see what's being taught to their children in sex education, have been told no by a court. Told no. We've got women phoning into my TERF Talk show who say that they want to care for children, preschool children. And they can't do it because they don't think it's possible, and they don't think it's right for children to be affirmed in this bullshit gender crap. We've got violent men, a lifer, ex-lifer, served life in prison for a violent crime and was violent in prison, cut off his own testicles and ate them. And he is allowed to make threats, violent threats, that we all know he means because he's a violent man. We know he means it. We feel he means it. As a person who is a recipient of the threat, I feel like he means it. Is that not enough? It's not enough. If I say to a man, if I was walking down the road tomorrow and I said to a man, "Excuse me," and he thought I was saying it because he was a bloke in a dress, and he decided that was transphobic, his feelings are enough. Our feelings, as women called TERFs, our feelings are not enough. It's not enough for us to say that we are genuinely afraid that this man would genuinely want to punch us. That's not enough. He's a malicious menace of a man. I believe him when he says about punching TERFs. I totally believe him. I believe his violent threats. 100%. It's just horrendous. What do you have to do these days? Once you stick on a skirt, oh, you can rape some women and go in a women's prison. There's still men in women's prisons in this country. You can stick on a skirt and go away with girl guides. You can stick on a skirt. You can go and play alongside women in sports. Maybe not in this country everywhere, but cycling, you can go and grab yourself a title. Like what is it that they can't do? They can threaten us. They can intimidate us. They can push us. They can assault us. They can make our daughters feel too afraid to use public toilets and changing rooms just in case they're in there. They can drill holes in unisex changing rooms. They can get their cocks out in front of little girls. They can talk about masturbating and leaving semen on our toilet seats and toilet rolls, on our underwear, where they try it on in Marks and Spencer's. They can talk about that, and we're still the bad ones. We can still be threatened with punching. What's it going to take? Is it going to be your niece or nephew? Tanweer? Does it need to be someone affected that you know? Does it need to be your little girl or granddaughter or someone in a changing room with one of these blokes getting their cocks out? Or does that not bother you either? Jesus. We as women, I've been interviewed how many times? We watched an autistic girl. And none of us know the whole story of this. I'll just take the facts that I know. We watched an autistic girl who was vulnerable because she'd already been picked up because she might cause herself harm because maybe she doesn't have self-preservation. Maybe her family's chaotic. Maybe she's just, maybe her autism doesn't inform her very well. Maybe she has a really difficult life. We watched her in serious distress where she was hitting herself in the face. We watched her get dragged out by police and arrested saying the word lesbian and held in the cells. Is that justice? We watched a violent man who served life gently arrested. Are you okay? Are your wrists all right, sir? Do you need to take your estrogen with you, sir? Is everything all right for you, my love? Would you like a cup of tea before you head off to nothing? No justice? A 70-year-old woman, as Sun reminds me on here, a 70-year-old woman got a knock on the door by police for taking a photo of a sign with a sticker on it. Let me just tell you, my friendly police, I am so ready. I'm going to sticker the arse out of everywhere I go. I might even do it to your station. I'm going to sticker it. I'm going to do it obviously, and I'm going to do it everywhere. And this is my intention. I fully intend to sticker places that I'm not supposed to. And people, if you want to join in, we have sticker packs. You can get 90 bloody stickers. Cheap as chips. Absolutely. 10 points for a cop car. Do you reckon, right, let's say I did this right now. I say to people, let's sticker the police. Let's sticker Tanweer, whatever his name is. Let's find out Tanweer, where his place of work. Let's sticker the whole place of work. Is that intent? Intent to commit criminal damage? Is that harassment of a judge? Is it harassment? Is that what it means? That if you actually do that, I would hope it I think it is. I don't think we should be able to intimidate judges. I think we should be there should be a place where we could um complain about this. But all bets are off now. All bets are off because once a man can stand in front of a cheering mob and say that you should punch TERFs in the face, which are women, then isn't that all bets are off? Like, if that's not breaking the law, then why is it breaking the law to do anything else? That's what I'm not even saying do any of these things. I'm just saying, if it is not breaking the law, if it is not incitement to violence by saying punch TERFs in the face, is it incitement to harass somebody, to say, let's go and find out where they work and let's sticker the whole place? Is that incitement? And if that's incitement, why isn't Baker incitement? It's just got to this point where it's just mad. Like, judges have got this equality bench book or something, which is all about diversity and inclusion. I watched something the other day where somebody was like, oh, because of our diversity and inclusion, the Electoral Commission, diversity and inclusion. Like, seriously, fuck off. Like, what does it even mean? Does that mean if I don't say diversity and inclusion, it means that I'm not going to equally employ somebody who's fit for the job? It's diversity and inclusion now in every single place because actually it was so dreadful before. There's a company called Salesforce. Now, Salesforce, one of the things they do, I'm sure they do loads of things, but one of the things they do is sort of data gathering. So if I was running a company and I was, I don't know, a call center, then I might employ Salesforce because I might want to key in some information and data to make sure that all my staff that were working from home do their job properly. So what Salesforce might do is it might generate these calls so that I know what my worker's doing, and then I can monitor every single tiny thing that worker's doing, right? That is a Salesforce tool. It's all about driving sales. So it will help your salespeople, like Yellow Pages or whatever. It will help them do as much as possible. Now, they were talking about diversity and inclusion. What does that mean? If everything you do is about monitoring staff and therefore it's purely about the meritocracy and the work ethic of someone, which I don't know how I feel about total monitoring people, but I can see why sometimes it's necessary. Right? If you run a big company, you want to understand that people are actually working all day. But what happens if you have those policies and then some of the people are from the similar group? Like say straight women, straight white women, where you find actually those women were less productive than others. What are you going to do with that monitoring? Does that mean then that you don't do anything about it because actually these people are grouped by their race? Like, what the bloody hell is that? Why is it necessary? Why is it necessary to know how many men working for an organization have sex with other men? Why is that necessary? Why is it necessary that if you have people who don't face customers, who, I don't know, work remotely on their own, why does it make any difference how they identify or anything? Like, how does that make a workforce different? It's so much. I've got a friend who works for a large company, and when she was just about to sign off a deal with quite a woke company, they literally asked how many employees were gender diverse. Not how many women. They weren't interested in how many women. They weren't interested in how many people or what different ages or from what different background. They weren't interested in anything. They were literally the only question they asked is gender diverse. It's just ridiculous. So today, I mean, we all knew, right? Weren't we going to be shocked if he got sent back to prison? I mean, obviously, why would a violent man be sent back to prison for making public violent threats? Because he's trans. Um, you know, it's just totally insane. Um, and it's everywhere. And every time everyone sort of, oh, we're winning. Oh, we just turned a corner. Isn't this great? Oh, this is the beginning of the. It's not. It's not. It's not the beginning of anything. This stuff is so intertwined in everything. How can you be legally qualified and so experienced that you get to be a judge that you can't spot a crime when it's in front of you? What did that judge think his intention was? Frighten women? Is that not enough? Punch TERFs in the face. How is that not incitement to violence? The only thing that makes sense is that the judge doesn't see women or women who are TERFs as human. That's kind of the only thing that actually makes sense. Unbelievable. Anyway, look. This is the granite black t-shirt. Can you see? I'm just going to shine it for you because it's just such a beautiful thing. See, look, glittery. How nice is that? You can find that in every store, wherever you are. Can't say that that isn't wonderful. Like, so sparkly. Anyway, we are literally in the purge. We're in purge siren territory. Okay, right. Much love to you. Look, the one thing I can tell you, which I hope gives you hope, because it gives me hope, is that every time something like this happens, a few more thousand people peak, because a few more thousand people understand what's going on, because he is such a bad example. I mean, he's great for us. He's a violent man who ate his own testicles, who tortured someone, who spent life in prison, who then came out, pretends to be a woman, and then threatens women with violence and gets away with it in a court because the judge says, basically, he's only joking. Didn't mean it. He's only joking. Didn't mean it. So I think that is great. I'd really like to see how Pink News and The Guardian and other newspapers actually cover this. I think that will also be of great interest. And just so you all know, I made a statement, a press release for Australia for tomorrow morning, Australian time, just about why I did this. And I'm really, really not having it. It's Sarah Jane Baker, Adam Allen, whatever his name is. He might have won today, but actually he has added a great many weapons to those of us who fight against this insane, vile, odious, misogynist, and violent ideology. So in a funny way, we should say thank you to Tarquin, whatever, Tarween, or whatever his name is. We should say thank you to him because he will have enabled more people to find out just exactly how insane this country has got and stand against it. Okay, so look, if you can keep your pecker up, not if you cut it off and eating it, but if you can keep your chin up, even when it really does seem like the whole world has gone mad, then I promise we will win. If you can just realize that everybody agrees with us, they just don't know it's happening. And once they know it's happening, that's that's how we can win. I've just read something on the sidebar there. And do you know why else we're gonna win? Because I never lose.